What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Protocol Pegasus here, bringing it back to you guys in Remnant from the Ashes, and today we'll be taking an all-new look at my builds, known as Burning of the Hero. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump over into the character sheet here. Alright, so for the handgun, I am using the hunting pistol. Attached onto it is the weapon mod known as Swarm. For my long gun, I'm using the shotgun. Attached onto it is the weapon mod known as Unstoppable Quills. For my sword, I'm using the Hero's Sword. For the armor, I'm using a full Sentinel set, so Sentinel's helmet, Sentinel's chest, and Sentinel leggings. For the necklace, I'm using Vulcan's Detonator. For my ring, I'm using Bright Steel Ring. And for my second ring, I'm using Burden of the Follower. So now with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump over into traits here. Now, usually this is the part where I give you guys a 3 breakdown in regards to the 3 primary traits I feel as though it's going to be suited for this build. But at the end of the day, I feel it's best to just let you guys know on a little trade secret. It really doesn't make a difference. Capitalize on every trait within the course of the game at the end of the day to be able to min-max your overall playstyle, to be able to bolster your build, and just be that much more survivable. Because in reality, I can tell you that you should start off with Vigor, Endurance, that you should start off with Warrior, but at the end of the day, it does not matter. There's no capital within the course of the game, so get your traits, get them up there, and just be able to min-max the best you can at the end of the day to capitalize on being that much more efficient within the course of your overall campaign. But enough about that, let's go ahead and jump over into some gameplay and I will show you guys what this build is all about. Alright, so we're here on Nightmare mode playing on Earth, and I'm going to go over the build breakdown for you guys, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. So one of the primary weapons I ended up taking here, as you can go about seeing, is going to be the hunting pistol. Reason being for that is because it's lightweight, it's fast, it's accurate, and it pulls off crit shots like you would not believe. Plus, I think it synergizes really well with the shotgun to be able to do pot shots from a distance and then come in and clean it up with the shotgun. I also like the fact that it is tied in with the Swarm mod, just because of the fact that the Swarm mod is generated rather quickly, and it's a good mod to use mainly for AoE output damage as opposed to single target damage, just because it works out a lot better that way in my personal opinion. But I digress. Now moving on over into the primary weapon, I am using the shotgun. Reason being for that is because it ties into Leto's armor really well, and I really do happen to like this combination. You'll see this combination on some of my other builds I happen to have set up already, and if you haven't checked those out already, feel free to go about doing so. Just go ahead and click on my channel and you'll see all the other lovely Remnant from the Ashes builds that I have already set up for you guys. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, the shotgun is a lot of fun. It's a great close range based weapon. It has a really nice reload speed at the end of the day, and it just works out in my favor just because of the fact that I'm using a heavier base armor set, excuse me, which allows me to go about not only dishing out single target damage output, but it also allows me to accurately deal with enemies at a close range, so it works out really well in that regard. Another thing is that I ended up tying it in with the needle mod just because of the fact that I like having the needles to be able to do single target damage output, and when they're tied into Vulcan's Detonator, they not only do single target damage output, but they also do AoE damage output, which also now can apply burning. So when you're fighting off a burst, when you're fighting off a boss, you end up applying 3 stacks of burning to that set boss rather quickly, which in return allows you to go about doing substantial amount of damage in a short period of time, and it also clears out any adds within that given area that happens to be close enough to the boss to suffer from the AoE explosion. However, there is one drawback to this ability, is that you can blow yourself up, go figure. So you want to be really cautious of how you go about utilizing it, and just make sure you're capitalizing on your overall position before you decide to go run and gun and you end up blowing yourself up. Another cool aspect to this build is going to be the Hero Sword, is just because of the fact I can do it. It looks absolutely sexy, it looks fantastic with the Sentinel armor base skin, and I think it's definitely a really fun weapon to utilize. And to be honest with it, I didn't pick it any other reason other than the fact that it looks freaking awesome with this armor set. Speaking of armor set, the reason I ended up going with this armor set was because of the fact that it is a heavier base set, and I just recently had acquired the Bright Steel Ring, which, if you do not know what that ring does, it allows you to go about making any heavy armor set into pretty much the lightest set possible by giving you the fastest roll possible. So it doesn't matter what armor set you're wearing, you get the fastest roll possible with that set armor set with this particular ring active. So with that being said, I have the ability to wear the heaviest armor set in the game and still be able to roll around like a ninja, which is absolutely fantastic, because if you guys have seen any of my other past videos, you'll notice that I am very mobile, very agile. I snap positions very quickly, and I like having the ability to move, because without it, I feel too restricted and I end up backing myself into a corner and I get overrun rather quickly. But I still like the overall survivability that heavier armor sets go about giving you, and I like the ability to pretty much reposition myself in any given situation, even if the situation isn't going my way. I just want to know that I have the means to be able to turn the tides if possible. And with this armor set, not only do I have the means to do so, but I'm still capitalizing on being able to dodge roll and evade rather quickly without having to worry about getting overrun continuously. So it works out really well at being a adaptable based armor set. I can't talk today. I ended up going with the Vulcan's Detonator necklace just to tie into the needles, because it does proc off the needles, so I can go about doing the explosion, it amplifies the single target damage output, it applies 3 stacks of burning onto the target. It works out really well and it's a lot of fun. Just as I said before, just be very careful not to blow yourself up. In this particular boss fight, it works out super well because I am in a much larger space, so I don't have to worry about being restricted and confined to a smaller sub-corridor. So I have a lot of room to play around with. So it actually works out a lot better in this given instance. Bright Steel Ring was the first ring I ended up selecting just because I wanted the ability to roll around as fast as possible. I felt it was awesome, and at the end of the day, why wouldn't you want to get the most armor output possible so you can take the most hits, and then not only take the most hits but be able to dodge roll continuously as much as you see fit. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to me. And last but not least, I ended up taking the Burden of the Follower ring just because I wanted to generate my mod output a lot faster, and I felt that this particular setup really synergized really well with that ring, just because I am using single target based weapon damage. So what that means is that it has a very low fire rate, if at all, at the end of the day when it comes to the shotgun and the hunting pistol, so that way I don't have to worry about the negative penalty I get off of Burden of the Follower, so it doesn't really matter. So in reality, I'm just getting the free 100% charge rate off of the Burden of the Follower, which allows me to generate my mods so fast. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you guys happen to think down below in the comment section. If you guys aren't having a good day already, I hope you happen to do so later on. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys real soon. Later.